I'm a very technical person. Everything is black or white.
What about gray? Where do you stand on the color gray?
I actually really like gray.
Is it black or is it white?
It's a mixture.
But everything is black and white.
Oh, no.
Okay, so do you want to talk about the Avengers movie?
Yeah, let's talk about Avengers.
Okay. So, for our fans' benefit...
Oh, the fans.
There will be spoilers.
The fans.
The fans. Actually, I presume by the time people are listening to this podcast, the fans will have all seen Avengers. This is probably...
It will be like 20 years in the future.
You're probably... Not 20 years.
Oh, sorry.
But like...
I was
fans, you're probably listening 6 months to 9 months from now, and you're listening to episode 30 right now, and you decided to go through the backlog and start it from the beginning. You probably...
The second movie has come out.
The second movie has come out. You already know how it ends. You can see how wrong we are about this movie.
I think we're right about everything.
You understood the movie perfectly?
Oh, yes. 100%. I am a perfect...
So, first of all, how would you rate the movie?
Ooh, okay. Is this a 1 to 5? 1 to 10?
You can choose your own scale. I guess movies are 5 usually.
Okay, I would rate it 4.5.
4.5 out of 5?
Mm-hmm. Do you know why I don't have that extra 0.5?
I don't know why.
You can guess.
Not enough Captain America.
Not enough Captain America.
Not enough Captain America.
Honestly, I should go down to a 4 just for that. But I know that there's going to be more in the next movie.
It is called The Avengers. It's not a Captain America.
Do you know what Captain America first movie was called? Captain America, the First Avenger. He started it all.
Yeah.
He should be the main focus.
But it's an ensemble, so...
I want 2 hours of Captain America. No,
it's just, you just want another... I just want another Cap movie.
No. Well, Captain America Civil War is the best movie, so...
Okay, I disagree on that, but we're already way off topic, so...
Okay, fine.
So you like the movie?
Yeah.
I like the movie. What did you not like about the movie?
Aside from Captain America?
Yeah.
Okay, the thing I think that bothered me the most is the fact that the ending, I felt like had no weight to it because you know that it's not going to end like that, where they all die.
Agreed.
Like if we didn't know that Black Panther's getting another movie and Spider-Man's getting another movie, then you'd be like,
you think they might have died?
Yeah.
Otherwise?
Potentially. I think if you didn't know, if you didn't know there were any other future movies, this could be, I mean, I guess that makes the point, though, because that would be the last movie. So there is no way they could go back from that. But I mean, I think even if it was just that they have one more Avengers movie and no other movies, that could still be a legitimate ending. Because you would think, they have one more movie they can wrap up by having the core Avengers save everyone and save maybe not everyone back to life, but stop him from doing anything else, or I don't know.
But isn't this just almost every comic book movie? It's like when you see that the main character is almost defeated, you're like, it has some weight, but not that much weight, because you know it's not the end of the movie and you know they're going to win at the end of the movie.
However, and this is a spoiler for another movie then, the Wolverine movie, because he dies. Did not expect that.
You didn't expect that?
No.
Okay.
But I also didn't know there was not going to be any other movies.
Yeah.
So that was really surprising to me.
Yeah, that's definitely a heavy ending, and you know it's going to stick for a while.
Different TV shows or things like that where they're killing off the characters. They're able to do that where you don't know.
I'm just thinking, like, in Black Panther, like, Black Panther spoilers. He fights the villain, like, in the middle of the movie, and the villain, like, they do, like, one-to-one combat, and the villain beats Black Panther, and he's like, I'm the king now, what's up? And it's like, it has some weight because he's like an outcast then, but you know that Black Panther is going to win at the end of the movie, so, like...
Yeah. It's a common trope in superhero movies.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like in Avengers, in Infinity War, they played it like as well as they could, with everybody knowing that there's like basically essentially a part 2, and the people you see die are going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it still carried some weight. They got the feel right. Like, they got the music right and the hopelessness part pretty good.
I still think, though, if they had chosen different characters, it could have really felt like it was more final. However, I understand that they're setting it up for the next one to be all the originals. So they couldn't, say, kill Captain America and Iron Man and Thor. Or else you'd be like, oh.
Yeah, I saw that's like the prevailing theory right now, is that the original cast, the original Avengers survived because they're going to save the day and potentially sacrifice themselves to make room for the next round of Avengers and the next round
Bucky.
of heroes. Bucky's not coming.
You don't think he's going to be the new Captain America? It's either him, they say, or
You think
Falcon.
there's going to be a new Captain America?
That's what they say.
I think they might just do a totally different group if they're going to go that route.
No more Bucky?
No.
He's got more contracted movies, though. I think.
I don't know.
Actually not certain.
But going back to that, I actually didn't like that all the original Avengers survived, because like the whole premise of Thanos and his like culling the universe population was that it was supposed to be random.
Yeah.
And like random people die, and then it was like all the originals got spared, and then it was like all the lesser known heroes, like the entire Guardians cast.
They're
just
gone.
like gone. Just like gone.
All of the Guardians.
And like, 50% of them are gone? No, 90% of them are gone.
Yeah, I did think that was weird, because at first I thought, they're going to save all of them, but Chris Pratt, he's going to be... No, they're going to kill all of them and save Chris Pratt. You know, because he's like the main one. Because all of the others are expendable.
Right, so...
But then they killed him too.
Yeah. So he's gone too. They just kept the raccoon rabbit.
Yeah, so I just think everyone's going to come back again, except for Gamora. She's gone.
Yeah, she's definitely
and
full dead.
Everyone says Loki's definitely dead. But if he is, I find that very unsatisfying how they killed him. He literally died within 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. I actually don't mind that, though. I feel like that was like a good way to set the tone for the movie.
It was, yes, but as a Loki lover, I just really like his character, and I don't want him to be gone.
Yeah.
And I didn't like how his character was portrayed in the last Thor movie, so I felt conflicted.
Think they're mostly true to his character. No? You don't think so?
I really liked the last Thor movie, and it's probably I don't know. I was gonna say it was one of my favorites, but I just felt the tone was so different, which I understand is what they were doing, and I think that's what makes it really cool and neat. But I didn't like how, I don't know. I keep replaying that scene where they do in the elevator with Thor and Loki, and they come up and they're like, let's play the pretend dead or whatever thing, and then
it was like their old trick.
Yeah, and then he's like, I hate that, and I don't know, it just seemed weird. I couldn't envision that scene being in the first or the second one, dynamic between the two. Yeah. And I suppose that could just be the progression of the two characters, but it just seemed like it didn't fit.
They totally changed the tone. Now, I didn't see Thor 2.
It's so dark.
And I don't remember Thor 1 that much either. But I do know like the character in the way that he's portrayed in some of the other movies.
Yeah.
Totally
different. I don't know. I'm very conflicted, because if I think about it, Thor 3 is probably my favorite Thor. But to me, the characters are just so different. Like, if this was the first Thor movie, I think that would have been awesome. It just seems like a weird progression to me, because it's I guess there are comedy elements in the first two. Maybe the first one more so than the second, but he's definitely much different. Who knows? That could just be time.
I know that the Thor in Marvel is not the Thor from like mythology, but I do like in the third movie that he is kind of like he becomes like the dumb god of thunder in a lot of the scenes. Like, he's a total idiot, but he's really powerful. That's like very true to Norse mythology. And I'm not a huge Loki fan in general. Like, he's another character to me. But I think that they end up getting his character right a lot just by the fact that he's self-serving.
Mm-hmm.
He's not predictable. He doesn't always work with people on one side or the other, and that's kind of the way that character is, and it always frustrates you in the stories. So, okay, the other thing that I didn't like about Avengers Infinity War, and this is going to be like a really nitpicky one, is that I think the Infinity Gauntlet is really cheesy looking.
The appearance
For
of it?
some reason, and I know there's so many special effects in the movie that I'm okay with, but for some reason the gauntlet is just like, it's so cartoonish compared to everything else. Like, it's got these like sparkly, bright colored rocks in it.
I was gonna say,
and
I feel like maybe the colors.
they just went with it. Like I mean, that's what it looked like in the comic book, but I don't know, for some reason, like Iron Man and Captain America's costume on screen, like, I believe it. It feels like they're in the real world. And then I see the gauntlet and these like sparkly colored stones, and I just don't believe it anymore. I know that's like a really small detail, but it was weird.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, did you understand the reference on this with the Soul Stone?
What was the reference?
The Red Skull guy.
Go on.
No, that's it. The Red Skull guy. He was there.
Just the fact that he was there?
Yeah. Like, did you know who he was?
Yeah, he's a Captain America villain.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew or not.
You knew that, right?
Yeah. But
Okay.
did you see the first Captain America?
I did.
Okay.
I don't understand why he was there, but
Yeah,
I was like...
Played around with the stones, and they're like, you need to watch this island and this soul.
Did he have the stone at some point?
I don't think he had the Soul Stone, but he had one of them.
Okay.
Didn't he have the one that Loki ended up having? No, see, I don't know. I don't even want to go there because I have no idea.
I don't remember at all.
I'm not that in-depth of a...
In fact, like, the more I think about it, the more I think, like, did I see the end of Captain America 1?
He fell into the lake.
But I don't remember...
Ocean.
I know the Red Skull was in it.
Body of water.
But...
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. Yeah.
He was in it.
Yeah.
But I don't
remember.
remember. I don't really remember. And so I don't get why he was on that random planet. Like, how did he get there?
The Soul Stone. It took him there.
It just took him there?
It's a special stone.
I don't know.
It has power. Do you think that Captain America is going to die? Or Iron Man? Or both? In the next movie?
That is a good question, for sure. I've been, like, flip-flopping for a while on it. I could see either one, like, working really well with the story.
Mm-hmm. My current theory is just both, because I'm like, yeah, it's going to be all of the above. Because they were saying that both their contracts are out, and I don't know. But I feel like the better option for them would be Captain America, because Iron Man has so much more potential, I think, in cameo spots than him.
Totally agree.
Especially with Spider-Man.
Yep.
And I can just feel like Chris Evans is more, like, I kind of want to just move away and do other projects. Whereas Robert Downey Jr. would be like, yeah, I'll come back.
I totally agree. That's exactly my reasoning right now, is that I could see either one of them dying. Both would be like a really powerful moment because they're such main characters. Iron Man has become like the mentor style leader,
Mm-hmm.
and even if his contract is up, I definitely could see them just saying like, we'll pay you for a cameo. You have 5 minutes of the movie time. And Captain America, I think, arguably a stronger emotional death if he's gone. But he's like a leader. He's like a role model leader. Mm-hmm. So I think there's not as much to do there.
And it's okay because Bucky will just take over.
How do you feel about like there's a lot of superheroes where like the actor portraying them is like iconic, like Wolverine. There's nobody but Hugh Jackman that played Wolverine, and it's almost impossible to imagine anybody else playing Wolverine. What do you think about Captain America? Could anybody else play Captain America or Iron Man?
Iron Man, I think, would be very hard because they are the same person. Robert Downey, like him and his character are the same. I just cannot envision that. I feel like I could more so for Captain America, but I would be offended if it was someone not already in there. So if it was not the Falcon or Bucky, I'd be
right.
mad.
So we're talking
or
like
we need some time, some distance.
So it's not like this isn't like a Batman Robin scenario where like Robin becomes the next Batman. It's like in 10 years they decide to reboot Captain America and do a new story with him, and they just pick a new Captain America.
I think I could see that. That would be fine.
You'd be okay with that? Like you could see another person in the role?
Yeah, I mean, I love Chris Evans in it, and I think he did it so well. But I just really love the character that I would definitely be interested in anyone else doing.
Okay.
So, but I just, for whatever reason, Iron Man I couldn't see. I guess they could try to get another guy with the same, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it would work as well.
I think so Iron Man the movie, like it kicked off the entire cinematic universe. I think when they made Iron Man, and this was their plan the whole time, right? Was like this will be the intro to the Avengers and like this huge build up over a decade. I think they built the role around Robert Downey Jr. Like,
well, that's smart.
And he fits, to be fair, like he fits that character pretty well. Like Iron Man is this like, I mean, from my understanding of comics that I don't read, he is like an arrogant, like he can be a cocky, arrogant guy. He can be a leader, but he's also got these like issues with himself. And like in the movies they gave him like PTSD issues, but in the comics he has like alcohol abuse issues, right? And I think they just molded that around Robert Downey Jr. and it fit perfectly, and like that whole role was made around him. And Chris Evans as Captain America, he's such a believable Captain America. Like you just believe that this guy is like, he's the pinnacle of everything that good means. And he just seems like that type of person in real life, and it transfers through to the role. But I could see
someone else.
I could imagine another person fulfilling that role. It would be a hard thing to do, but I could see another person doing it.
I don't want that. I just want more of him, though. He's great. Have you heard of the game Skulls and Roses?
No. Is it an app?
I don't know.
Or it's a board game?
Probably a board game.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't gotten into this board game craze yet.
You have to, though.
I know it's the hottest thing right now.
Last time we played Avalon, you were just so confused.
There's a lot of confusing stuff. And also when you're playing games for the first time, it's like to your advantage to be confused.
Yeah, I know, because I remember
in any game.
I remember when we were playing and you like said something or did something and I was like, oh, Donnie, like he doesn't understand the game yet. And I was like, oh, so I was trying to like be nice and like help along, and then you ended up like screwing me over or something. Like you were doing a long play and you actually were bad, and like I was trying to help you because I was like, oh, he's trying to pretend he's bad, but I know he's good. And then you were really bad. You're just playing me. I was like, well, I learned never to do that again.
If you act dumb enough, like I think like maybe in that game what happened was I got the bad card and I was like, if I was a bad player, what would I do here? Like, should I do this thing? And I don't know. It's so easy to believe people are dumb, and your brain wants to go along with it. So, but yeah, even in other games where it's not like that as much like psychological or social or whatever you want to call it, it's still a really good advantage to like make people think less of you.
Sneak attack them.
I still lose anyway, but like at least they try to help me out a little bit more. I don't know. Why do you think board games are seeing such a resurgence right now, though? Because I don't necessarily get it.
I don't know. I see the ones that seem really popular are a lot of the ones where you're, lying or having to put on a character or something. I think those are really interesting because it's not like Trouble and Parcheesi or, something like those have made up a new...
Yeah.
They're not newly popular. It's ones that are a bit more thinking and strategic.
Definitely.
And I don't know. I wonder if it's just our generation. It's just what we're into.
Do you think that there's like, is there any, not sure the right word, but is there anything to the fact that people are looking for more social connection in real life right now?
Oh, we're going deep with this.
We don't have to go that deep, but I just wonder, a lot of our time spent interacting with people is through text, and like you don't even talk to people. You just text them or message them on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And so like board games is a time when you are around a table in person, and it kind of recalls like the time as kids when we were playing video games together in person and that sort of thing. Is that something that people are like, is that something people are craving? I'm just wondering what's the appeal, because I have played board games with people before and they're fun, but I wouldn't go out of my way necessarily to schedule
Really?
a board game
I love
night.
them. I like the lying aspect of them, and where you can be a different character or something, and you have to try to swindle people and try to fake them out. I think that's really fun. Like, I like ones like that more so than just regular dice games or something like that.
So it's the type of game
and I think,
that matters.
Yeah, to me, there's more humor in it then, because a lot of times you'll laugh over someone doing something stupid, like, not playing well or something, or you'll just, I don't know, someone will pull off a really great trick or a good move or something like that, and everyone will be like, whoa, that's amazing.
So would you prefer a board game to a video game? Like a local video game? Like you got Mario Kart on the N64 rigged up.
Over that game, yes. It would depend on the video game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you're putting a Skyrim or a Fallout out there.
Skyrim is a one-player game.
Oh, so you're just saying a video game with multiple players.
Yeah. Like, I've had a lot of fun. I have more fun playing, like, Mario Party with my old housemates than...
Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, like, those types of games. I've enjoyed those more than some of the newer board games coming out.
I think my taste is still board games.
Are there drinking board games?
No, but often you drink while playing the board games. Oh,
I do know that.
There's...
But that's just like almost any activity, really.
But that's probably another aspect that is really fun.
So like, but when we used to play Mario Kart in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mario Kart is like a fully fledged drinking game now.
How so?
Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Like.
What, you like drink when you go over a banana peel?
No. It's like
you lose your drink?
No.
Drown your sorrows.
Yeah. Well, that's like every day, but like.
If you're second place, you take 2 shots. If you're fourth place, you take 4 shots.
No. Okay. First of all, there's a huge flaw with that because the loser drinks the most, which means they're most likely to lose again and then drink the most again.
That's literally the concept of every drinking game. They're always geared towards that.
But that's the worst style of drinking game. Like, no, they're not all like that. Beer pong is not like that. If you win beer pong, you keep playing at the table.
That's true.
And you keep drinking until you lose, which means that as the night goes on, you're more likely to lose. Like, the playing field levels out. Mm-hmm. As opposed to when losers drink, it's just like...
just get smashed.
Yeah, they just get screwed and smashed, and the winner is like sitting there dry and just destroying people completely sober, while everybody else is driving their cart into a wall and off a Rainbow Road.
Oh, wow. Well, so then what's the inherent drinking game?
So the drinking game for Mario Kart is simple. It's just that you have a race, and you have a beer, and you have to finish your beer by the end of the race. But you can't drink while you're driving, as in real life.
So you have to take your hands off the controller, take a drink, and then go back onto the controller?
Yeah.
I don't get this. So is the strategy that when you're already going to hit a wall or something, you let go and then drink then? Or while you're restarting?
There's not really that much strategy. Like the game has been solved. Per se, like there is only one real good strategy, which is basically in Mario Kart 64 they have the rubber band effect, you know?
No.
So like in Mario Kart 64, the worse you're doing in the race, the better items you get.
Oh,
right.
Wow. I'm learning that I know nothing about Mario Kart.
This is how it works in like all Mario Kart games. If you're in first place, you get like nothing. You get like 1 green shell or 1 banana.
I never knew this.
If you're in last place, you get stars and ghosts. And
no wonder I've always gotten stars.
Yeah.
And a lot of the shells.
Yeah,
I thought I was just very lucky.
No, it's not like that.
I'm just terrible.
So the worse you're doing in the race, the better items you get. which means that when you're drinking, basically as soon as the race starts, you want to drink as much of your beer as possible, if not all of it. Now, personally, I can't drink all of it all in one go. It's like it takes me way too long. But if you could do it, you would want to drink it all at the front end and then do your 3 laps and win. Because once you finish your beer, you're in 8th place probably, and you get the best items, get up to 1st place, and then win the race. The other option is, like you said, if you find yourself like falling off a bridge and like in the water, then you just go ahead and drink as much as you can. But you never want to leave it right until the end. That's the worst strategy. And people still do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Because when you stop, your car stops, right? There's no like momentum that just propels you. You're not constantly going, right?
You're not constantly going, but if you just let off the gas, like you'll just coast to a stop. Okay,
so you could theoretically keep going, press, let off, drink while it's coasting, and then go again. You won't.
You could theoretically do that. It's like it's not always in the spirit of the race. Like if you're just saying like you press A and then you take a drink and then you press A once and then you take a drink, that's definitely I would say that's not kosher.
There's so many rules to this that I did not know.
It's more like house rules though, and more spirit rules.
Was this just you guys, or this is like
this is a really common thing. If you look it up online, you'll see like there's like 5 different names for it. It's very common everywhere.
Okay. Huh.
The variation that I really like is that not only can you not drive while you're drinking, but before you drink, you have to pull over to the side of the road and park and then take a drink. And I just think that is so amazing. Like to imagine that you're in the middle of this like go-kart track and you just like, all right, let me pull off to the side, come to a nice break. You use the B button for once in the game and you just come to a complete stop and just like casually
turn the car off,
get
out of the vehicle, sit on the curb, drink. Okay, get back. Open the door, get back in the vehicle, turn the car on.
Exactly.
They should. If who's the company that makes Mario?
Nintendo.
What's the other like?
Xbox.
No. There's like a Japanese company.
Comcast.
No.
Namco.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, the company, they should, if they know about this, which I would think they would, they should make this a game so that you can do that, pull over on the side in the game, you can get out of the car.
Like put some messages on it and like it works with you a little bit, change the settings a little bit.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't think that will be that lucrative.
It's not really like
Maybe they shouldn't.
They probably shouldn't. That's not really like the target audience.
That's a good point. It's geared towards children, so yeah, scrap that. Don't.
Okay, we don't need to do that.
Okay, don't let them know that I said that.
But I will say, I am excellent at that game. 64.
I don't know if that should be something you're proud of.
Mario Kart 64 in particular, I'm very good at.
Oh, you just mean the game.
I mean the game, but as a side effect, because I am so good at the game, I'm also good at the drinking version.
I'm not surprised you're good at the game because I've yet to see something you're not good at.
So the people say. It's because I secretly practice everything in my free time.
No.
Because I can't get shown up in real life and embarrassed.
I just remember how I had all my video games and you always beat them before me.
But to be fair, when you were playing video games when we were kids, you were 3 years younger and you hadn't really played many video games. So, like, you're not going to be good at it.
Yeah, but you could still beat me at all the video games.
But again,
all of them. I
had 3 more years of experience and then some.
No, but you could just beat me at games you've never played.
Yeah, because it transfers.
I thought
the skill transfers.
I just want one game, like one game that I'm inherently better at than you. Just one.
Is there not? I feel like there's probably one.
I mean, I can't think of any. Barbie Dreamhouse, Go-Go, Gadget, Secret Agent. I was pretty great at that game.
I remember like being so desperate to play games as a child that I played those Barbie games.
Did you play the Barbie Secret Agent game? Because love that game.
Yeah.
Computer game?
Yeah. And it was like really
it's a mystery.
Difficult to figure out like what you were supposed to do next to advance the story. That's what I remember most about that game.
You didn't know where you were supposed to go.
Yeah, and it was
click
like
things.
Yeah, it was like one of those clicking games. So you click on the next screen, and it would put you, and the background would change, and you would have to know like I had to click on like the flag on this mailbox, and it will like unlock the secret key to the basement.
But not just the flag, like that one point on the flag.
Yeah, there's like 1 pixel. So like you already clicked on. It's like, oh, that little red flag. Obviously, got to click that.
Corner.
But yeah, it wouldn't go until. Those were like, we had some objectively bad games when you were younger.
That was a great game.
Because you liked all those games and like Hamtaro for Game Boy.
Hamtaro.
Yeah, just like all the games are like based off of other merchandise and just like.
Oh, are you talking about Little Mermaid, the pinball game thing? Because that game was great.
Pinball games actually surprisingly good.
I had Little Mermaid. I had a Lion King. These are all the Game Boy Advance.
I remember the Lion King one, yeah.
Lion King 1.5. It was Lion King 1.5. I remember that.
For the pinball game?
No, it wasn't pinball.
All right, should we take a quick pause here for
sponsors?
For our sponsors? You want to
This
do it?
This episode is brought to you by Blue Apron.
You can. This is the.
This episode is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club.
The Hank and John Green method, which is just recalling a moment earlier from the podcast.
This is brought to you by Wolverine.
He's actually dead.
Man, he's got some great claws.
That's exactly how they do it, actually.
Brought to you by Mario. They don't sponsor drinking while driving.
Yes, exactly.
While playing their games. Mario.
Nintendo, we don't condone drinking.
Please do not drink while playing our games.
Especially binge drinking.
Please don't chug a whole beer in 1 minute before the race
Nintendo,
starts.
we don't advocate drinking and driving.
I just saw that there was an article about scammers. I don't know if it's scammer or scanners, but they put them on like ATMs or gas stations.
Skimmers.
Skimmers. That's what
Skimmers.
it is. Yes, and apparently there's a high volume of those where I work right now around the area.
I started testing that all the time.
How do you test it?
Because, like, I've seen only a couple pictures of this online, but it's obviously happened to people, and now I got paranoid about it. They put the skimmer is just like a piece of plastic molded to fit exactly on top of the thing. So if you just wiggle it or try to pull it out, usually if it's a skimmer, it should just come right out or pretty easily. But if it's an actual machine, it's basically built in. So I always do this like little pull on the gas station, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why do I keep doing this?
Hey, one day you're gonna pull it off.
One day maybe.
Because I was trying to see how you determine it, and it just showed pictures where it looks like it protrudes out more than normal, and I was like, how am I ever going to spot that?
Yeah.
Because it's not like there's like a flashing button or something that is more obvious than just a
It looks
thicker,
exactly the same.
Yeah. So yeah, now I'm worried about that.
Speaking of scanners, this is tangentially related to scanners. Have you seen the Amazon grocery store concept? Well, I mean, it's not even a concept, it's for real.
Working.
There's like a prototype store in Seattle, I think.
Yeah, it's the one, isn't it, where you just like, there's no...
You just take
checkout.
your merchandise and leave.
Yeah, it just...
How cool is that?
Cool, but also a little scary.
I think it is so cool. It's so cool.
But I always thought where you could just take your own scanner and scan as you go was cool.
Have you used that before?
No.
So it's not that cool. I've never used that.
I had the option.
I have the option right now, and I still don't use it. Because it's like, why?
Because then, number one, I love scanning things.
But you scan it at the end anyway.
I suppose, yeah, there is self-checkout now. But, I don't know, you just get to do it. Although, I don't know how that works. Do you pay on that scanner or something? Or do you have to go up to a cashier and give them the scanner?
I don't know, because nobody uses them.
Well, okay.
That
idea was a great idea.
That idea was such a failure for grocery stores, I think. I never see anybody using them.
But do you think that they're all going to start using this Amazon grocery store
I think
style?
That's probably not going to happen for a long time.
I think people aren't receptive to the idea yet.
But I think you're gonna get like the high-end stores, like the Whole Foods. Amazon bought Whole Foods, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure they bought Whole Foods.
I'm sure they have.
Let's just
everything.
say they definitely bought Whole Foods. Amazon owns everything. So, like the high-end stores like that are gonna like slowly transition to it. I think I could see that being like the future of like most merchandise in retail stores. Like you just go in and either it's got like the facial recognition, most likely it would have like the facial recognition, or maybe there would be like a key card associated with you. Like when you pass through the door, it registers like an RFID chip on you. And then you just take all your stuff and you go, and all your money is like all money is like through your card anyway. So it just comes right out of your bank account or through your card like usual.
I don't know, but then you just don't get that other interaction with either the cashier or I guess I don't know. I just feel like it'll be a very solo trip. It'll be very lonely.
I mean, do
We're
you
all gonna be
self-checkout
very
now?
independent. Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Because nobody really wants to interact with the people doing those jobs.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I feel like I don't know. There's something where if I'm not seeing myself pay with the money or use my card, I'm just worried about what's coming out and what's not. Like maybe I'll spend too much because now I'm just like, I can just get whatever I want. Whereas before there's like the act of actually putting your card in or giving the money. And this way you could just say, oh, I really want this box of Wheaties today. I can buy it.
You just take it. Well, that's no doubt. That's definitely a real thing. Even with cash and credit, it's already like it's scientifically proven. You spend more money credit because you don't feel the pain of losing like a physical object. So yeah, if you didn't even have a physical card with you, I bet you would spend more money.
Blow it all.
But that doesn't mean
this is going to happen then because
it will definitely.
all the corporations are going to be
there's
like,
huge incentive, yeah.
Give me all the money.
And that's how the future works. I think also is like this. It's more progressive. It will be cheaper in the long run.
I just feel like it's going to be very, very hard to sell this to people where they'll be like either a face recognition, especially because people are already so concerned about what is out there about them and the fact that everyone's watching all the time.
Let me
and
tell
then
you.
that it's in your bank account and the store can just grab from your bank account whenever it wants.
Let me tell you this conspiracy theory that I believe 100%. It's probably not even conspiracy theory.
It's not. If you believe it 100, it's not. It's real.
So facial recognition, right, is like the next biometric thing. So you already have your fingerprint on your phone, right? And like that was a weird thing when it came out, right? People were like, oh, it reads your thumbprint. It's kind of weird because you have this like attachment to your fingerprints, and it's like a personal, like identifying thing. But now that's like, I don't know how I ever went without it. Like I unlock my phone just by like holding it up with my thumb. That is the next thing on phones is the facial recognition. Like iPhone X, 10,
11,
iPhone
24. Who knows?
So there's like smartphones. They have facial recognition to unlock the phone, right? So it's like easing everybody into this concept that like your face is known.
But I will say people didn't necessarily like the facial recognition.
I think people are still not sold on it, but I
that
think
might
you
just be
will.
because it was so finicky.
And I think it will change. Like you're used to it on your phone. You get used to like the functionality of it, where you just hold it up and your phone unlocks instantly for you, and it puts your face on emojis and stuff.
Oh, weird.
And like Facebook recognizes your face and can tag you in photos automatically. And there's like these tiny conveniences that will add up over time, and just the fact that you get used to it over time, it's going to be like an accepted fact. Then people will just accept, like you walk into a store, there's cameras and your face is recognized, and that's how the world works now.
But would it be used for anything else? Because facial recognition is used now for phones. It's used, I'm not even sure what else. For what? So it could potentially be used for purchasing at grocery stores, but what else could it be even used for?
Like, are you talking negative wise or
No, I
just
just
in
mean
general?
to
Like, why is it convenient to you?
Yeah, like what else could it be in our everyday lives used for?
Like lots of any
Like,
sort of identifying transactions, I guess. Like if you go to the bank, instead of putting your card in, you can just step up to the ATM and look into the camera, I imagine.
That would be interesting.
But like it's
But
not
then what happens when you need to do something for someone else? Like
there's
say
always codes.
your friend wants you to go buy some eggs for her and she has a 20, but this new facial recognition, everything is just paid, so then you're going to have to start doing more lending and owing other people.
So then you have like
transactions.
you have all the like money transferring platforms if you want to go that
You'd
route.
still have it?
But also like even as the phones have upgraded over time, it's not like we got rid of the original stuff. Like if you get locked out of your phone, or if you want to let your friend into your phone, you just tell them like, oh, here's my number code.
But isn't the facial one only the facial?
I don't know. Is it?
That's what I thought, because that's why I thought people were upset about it, because it wasn't recognizing faces and that you couldn't unlock it. I just remember I saw a video with someone saying, oh, you need to put your face in your phone because I can't get it.
If that's the case, I think that that's a huge mistake, because even though your phone is your personal device, there's lots of times when somebody else needs to use your phone, and not having a backup secondary method is just crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have an iPhone 6?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
6S? 6S? So what are we, 4 generations behind?
Yeah.
No, we're 2 one behind?
I think
They
kind of
skipped so many numbers.
I'm not sure why they did that. Just to be cool. Did you... Oh, you don't have a MoviePass. But did you hear that MoviePass it won't let you see a repeated movie now?
I heard they're like finicking with... Finicking? They are... That's not the word.
I don't think that's the word.
Fiddling.
Yeah, that's the
They're
word.
fiddling.
They are finicky.
They are finicky.
Well, they were when I first started.
I would say they're fiddling with their model a lot because it is an insane model.
Well, yeah, they're losing all this money.
Yeah, and so they got to figure out a way to make it profitable.
I don't appreciate this. As someone who purchased the MoviePass with being told that I could see any movie I wanted, 1 movie a day. I should be able to see any movie I want, 1 movie a day.
Yeah, so I get how they're trying to change the the time limits associated. So right now it's 1 per day. They were toying with the idea of 4 per month instead.
They actually are currently doing that.
I heard they were changing back to the daily.
Oh, maybe. I was going to say, when I purchased it, I think... well, actually, I don't know. I haven't used it in a bit. I think since I purchased it when it was the 1 movie, I still have that. But people that were just now purchasing new ones, it was 4 movies a month plus iHeartRadio or something like that.
Yeah, which is
who wants
cares?
That? I don't even know what that is. Is that Sirius or something?
Do you have to pay for iHeartRadio ever? I thought you could just go online and listen to it, but whatever.
Satellite radio? I don't know.
The thing I don't get is the repeat movie. What does that have to do with the profits?
The only thing I can think is that the actual movies themselves, or the companies themselves, don't want those numbers messing up with it. But I don't see why. Because if say you're using the MoviePass to go see the same movie, Avengers, every day, all that money is going towards that movie and their sales. But I don't know why that could be a problem.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Their statement said something like, "We want you to be encouraged to go see other movies out there." But I'm like, that's not the real reason. So what's the real? Because there's no point to that. Why would you need to do that?
Yeah.
Granted, I don't really see movies twice, so it's not too much of an issue. But Avengers, I would see that multiple times just because it's such a jam-packed movie that I think you could do a couple showings of it. And
I honestly, I cannot comprehend why they would want to do that. It seems to me like the number one thing here is that they're offering 30 movies per month for the price of like what, one movie
Less
per
than
month?
one. I think mine was $9.99.
It's roughly $10
Yeah.
for a month's worth.
And it's about $14, I think, at the theater.
So
Ours,
it's
at least.
absolutely an insane deal, money wise. Like,
Yeah.
so to me, it makes the most sense to say like, here's your movie max per month, and we're gonna reduce it. But I don't get why they would care. Like, you have 4 movies per month, or 5 movies per month, or 10 movies per month. Why can't you see the same one every single time? Who cares? As long as the deal that they've struck with the movie companies, it works out in everybody's favor. I don't get why you can't do the repeats.
Yeah.
I do get why 30 movies per month is insane for the price of one, but
I guess it must just be that they think people won't see that many, because that's true. I have the ability to see a movie a day, and I'm not seeing a movie a day because that's just too many times, too many visits to a theater. So I'll see maybe once a week.
I guess that's true. They have to rely on the people that aren't the power
because
users.
I'm sure it's a very, very, very small percent that will see one almost every day.
Now that I've thought about this for a second, I remember seeing a reason for the repeats. One of the things that they're trying to cut down on is abuse of the pass, where I think they've changed several things about the system now, but I think what was happening before is that people could get the ticket for the movie and then sell it to another person.
Oh,
and I'm not exactly sure how that works because I don't have a MoviePass and I don't have the system. But if you saw the movie once and you say, well, I'm not going to see a movie tomorrow, but you can see a movie tomorrow if you give me $5, then
that's
the repeat reason.
Why would I not think about that? Yeah, because you can definitely do that. I go with my MoviePass to the kiosk, and it just prints the ticket for me. Say you went to the person at the desk or whatever, you would just get the ticket. You could go off to the side.
Just give it to anybody.
It's not like they check what the card holder is. Wow, man, I can't believe my mind never went there.
The reason that you didn't think about that is because you were already getting a crazy good deal.
And I don't want to monopolize it on
you didn't need to make more
even
money
more.
off of it. It wasn't, you didn't feel like you were ripped off at all, where it's like, I need to make some money on the side to make this worth it.
At first I thought you were going to say that you heard the reports of people that you were using the pass just to use the restrooms, because there's been a couple, and I think this is just a joke that went like too far that people like started to believe, but some people were saying, oh, the movie pass is worth it just so I can have use the fancy restroom at the movie theater. So like I was thinking, oh, maybe someone just keeps buying movies for the same movie so they can go in and use the bathroom, and they're like, we don't want this to be done anymore. We want our bathrooms free.
I vaguely remember this story showing up, and I just wonder, like, what movie theater are you going to? Because the movie theater I go to, they don't have posh bathrooms.
I have no idea. Maybe it's somewhere in a very California, one of those nice theaters or something. I'm just envisioning
those rich people theaters.
I don't know. I suppose actually for actual people who are homeless or something, they were thinking that they, kind of in the sense that sometimes people will buy gym memberships just so they can use the bathrooms because it's only a couple dollars or $10 something a month, and that's worth it to use the facilities and things like that. So maybe $10 a month for a movie pass, you could use the bathroom. Although I'm sure the theater people don't appreciate that being used as a washroom or anything like that.
I don't like. Every movie theater bathroom I've been in has been a regular bathroom, and you could just go to Starbucks and use it. And
it's like not even.
To be honest,
there's about 20 stalls.
Yeah.
There's no paper towels. It's normally just the hand dryer things. The soap is normally never there. And I say at least 75% of the faucets don't work at one time.
Yeah, it really does.
They're
that doesn't
terrible.
make any sense. So.
Yeah, apparently it's just not our bathrooms that people want to go to. Our theater bathrooms.
Yeah.
They're not the highest quality.
It's those movie theaters that have showers.
They have sofas.
Yeah.
They have like a lounge
area.
Or whoever the attending person that they give you mints when you
mints,
leave.
Yeah, and you have to tip them, and it's like, damn, this is crazy. I gotta tip somebody to use the bathroom.
Yeah. And they give you like a nice warm towel.
Have you ever been to a bathroom like that?
No, I've never had.
I went to some bar once that had a
What?
person in the bathroom.
What kind of bar was this?
I'm not sure. I can't remember anymore.
Fancy bar.
Somebody
Bars
told me
are typically the worst restrooms.
it wasn't a really fancy bar because I don't go to really fancy bars. But somebody told me later that the reason they have those people a lot of times is so people don't do drugs.
I was gonna say to watch over to like make sure people aren't like doing something weird.
But like he definitely had a tip jar. And
Are you
I
sure he wasn't just a regular person trying to make tips?
If he did, he was doing a great job. I probably should have tipped him in retrospect. But in real life, I didn't tip them. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to tip the guy. Like, he did nothing in the process. Like, I went to the bathroom myself. I washed my hands myself. I dried my hands myself. And then there's a tip jar standing next to this guy who's just watching over everything. Why would I pay that guy any money?
That reminds me of a lot of the Squarespace, not Squarespace, whatever the
This episode brought to you by Squarespace.
I'm just programmed for this nonsense. No, Square, it's just called Square. But there's the card reader things or whatever that now say, like, do you want to give a tip when you're ordering from somewhere, but you're just ordering. Like, for instance, at the taco place I just ordered at today, I just told them my order, and they said, okay, we'll give it to you. But at the end of the order, it says, do you want to give a tip? And I think, but they're not, it's not like a server, it's just I'm getting the food. And I'm like, now I feel bad because I feel like I'm supposed to tip you, but you're just doing the basic order taking of, you know, like a takeout order. And they do it at Nando's too. Granted, Nando's, they actually do deliver the food, but they just deliver it.
Yeah,
they don't
just
like
walk
you.
it to your
You go up
table.
and get your refill of drink, and you go up to get your, you know.
Yeah, it's like
utensils,
it's not
things
a
like that.
tippable
But
thing.
But that thing, it says, do you want to tip the person? And then I'm also wondering, where are the tips going to? Is it going to the server? Is it going to the person who brings my food out? Is it going to the cooks? Because
that's actually a good question.
who is it? Because I would tip maybe the person who's bringing me my food, the person who's taking the order. I feel like I shouldn't tip because
you did nothing.
That I didn't tip anything.
That tipping is insane. And like I think I've always heard that other countries say this when they come to America is like tipping culture is so hard to understand, like when it's appropriate to tip and how much. And that's one of the ones where it's like it's gotten out of hand where you can just ask for tips anywhere. The worst experience I had with this was when I was on vacation and I went to a cafe and just ordered like coffee, and they had like a prepared like parfait type thing. So nobody did any food preparation. They poured like drip coffee into a cup, but it wasn't like they had to make a coffee. They just poured it into a cup. And they let me pay on their fancy new iPad system. And I'm trying to get to the next screen where I can just pay and just leave. And I can't figure out how to close the transaction without tipping, because it says, do you want to tip at the top of the screen? And it's like 10%, 15%, 20%, no other options. And
no tip.
There's nothing. There's nothing at all.
I'd like to tip 20%. You poured a great coffee. You just
Right?
poured that cup well.
I love the way that you watched me carry my food up to this register. And I was stalling for time because I was like, I don't know what to do here. And I'm just standing there staring at the iPad for 5-10 seconds and just going on. And eventually I was like, I gotta ask. And I told the cashier, I was like, how do I say no tip? But I was like, trying at all costs. I was like, I have to avoid telling her that I'm not going to tip her. But I couldn't figure it out. So I was like, I don't want to tip.
This in the nicest way possible, but you're not getting the tip
I
today
know,
from
right?
me.
So I was like, how do I go on from here? And like you can just tell that they're like disappointed with you. Like, really, you're not going to tip anything?
We should just go to how they do it in England, where there's no tips. You don't tip people. It's just factored in.
I mean, I get, for me, tipping makes, I get the original concept where like the level of service corresponds to the tip, but it seems like we've come so far from that, and there's so many occupations where your performance doesn't really affect your actual pay, that why do we make these like low skilled waitressing and waitering positions rely on it? It just seems crazy.
I really think that it shouldn't be tip based. Everyone should just have that minimum wage or whatever, and then you can get tips if you do a great job. Like, that shouldn't be based on your pay. You shouldn't be trying to base your salary on what other people are willing to give, because some people will give a lot and then others will give nothing. Yeah. And sometimes it's not even your fault. It could be the fault of the cook, or the food being bad, or someone's having a bad day, so they just don't want to tip you.
Definitely.
Then you just don't get it. Also, taxis, never know how to tip for those. Or at a bar, never understand tipping at a bar. I just do the $1 for a drink tip.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I can think of.
I have had my own set of bar rules, because it just seems it's all so arbitrary. But yeah, that's the general rule, is $1 per drink. But then I often think, well, if I ordered 2 or 3 or 4 beers, a round of beers, and you're just giving me a bottle, I don't really feel like you deserve $1 for
every
taking
beer.
A cap off of a beer bottle, versus the next person over ordered an actual cocktail. If you're mixing me a cocktail, yeah, definitely get a tip for that. But there are some things where it's I don't know, it just seems excessive.
And then, well, for the taxi, what do you tip? Because that seems so subjective to me, because to me, I'm the kind of person that likes a quiet taxi ride where they wouldn't talk to me much and I can just do my own thing. So am I supposed to tip if they do that, or if they say they're really chatty and I'm oh, I just don't really like this that much, but am I supposed to tip on that, even because they are being nice? But to me, that's not my most favorite experience in a taxi. And then it's oh, are you just supposed to round up what you're, what the fare is? Or I have no idea.
Yeah, I actually definitely feel for taxi drivers and the whole driving tipping part, because you have to somehow read your customer and figure out what type of person are they? Do they want to have a conversation or not? Because if you guess that wrong, it's going to affect their perception of the ride, and that's just so hard to predict while you're driving a car with a person in the back. You know what else is weird about the tipping is that there's this whole phenomenon of tipping inflation, just like everything else going up in price. But when tipping back in, let's say, the early 1900s, when you would tip for your meal, a good tip would be 10%. And then as time goes on, it just, that percentage of a good tip, it just increases. So nowadays, well, I remember when we would go out to eat when we were younger, when we were kids, and 15% was a good tip. Now 15% is definitely the standard tip.
Yeah, it's the middle of the way tip.
And it's almost gotten to, I think, the point where 18% is a standard tip, and 20 is a good tip. And I've even heard people say that 20 to 25 is the common range for them.
Soon it's just going to be 100%. You just have to double the money that you're paying for your food as a tip. If you spend $20, you're giving another $20.
I heard 25% for the first time, and I was that's ridiculous. A quarter more?
Yeah, I don't.
And that was my first thought as well. It's okay, well, eventually I'm just going to double the price.
Hey, it will make it very easy to tabulate. You just be well, double this times 2.
Do we have an outro?
Wow.
We're going to just stop.